How to start a writing assignment. When you are faced with a writing assignment, sometimes it can be overwhelming to think about where to begin. So the first place to begin is by reading the directions. You want to make sure that you read the directions of your writing assignment very carefully before you start writing. Here are some things to consider. Look for things like questions that you need to answer. Words you do not know. If there are words in the assignment that you don't know, the first thing you need to do is look up those words. You must understand what your instructor is asking you to do before you can do it. Look for a required word count. This will help you figure out about how long your paper will need to be. The average word count for a one-page paper, double-spaced, is 250 words. So if your instructor is asking for a 1,000-word paper, that is about 4 pages double-spaced. Required references. If you are doing a research paper, it will be expected that you will have some number of references. Oftentimes, instructors specify the minimum number of references you need for your paper. Make sure to look at that as you are looking at your instructions. The format of the assignment. Is your assignment going to be a research paper? Is it going to be a presentation? Is it going to have some other format? Make sure you understand what the format is. Is it going to be a business letter or a memo? All of those things you should understand before you start writing your paper. And then look to see if there are any additional components required. Is there some sort of presentation involved with this paper, or do you need to do a visual? Make sure that you understand all the parts of the requirements of the assignment before you start. It should take you between 15 to 30 minutes to really read and understand the directions for a writing assignment. If, after you've read the directions, you don't understand something, make sure that you ask your instructor before you continue. It is much easier to correct a misunderstanding now than when you are mostly done with your assignment. Once you have understood the instructions, the next part is brainstorming. This is where you get to free flow with your ideas to come up with some building blocks for your paper. All you need to do is open a new document and start a list of ideas that are focused on the topic of your assignment. Just write down or type whatever comes to mind. You don't have to edit yourself at this point. Here are some examples that I've come up with. The first is for a personal essay. So this is if you have an assignment where you're asked to write about a time when you faced a challenge in your life. I wrote down some ideas for myself if I were going to write this kind of paper. I just started with some identifying characteristics. I'm a mom, I'm a single parent, I have kids with ADHD, went through a divorce, was worried about money, had a lack of nearby family support, and when my daughter was little, she cried all the time. Then here are some challenges I faced. Again, this is not in any particular order, and no one is going to see this but me. This is just for help to get ideas on how to proceed. Another example is if I was asked to write about a business plan. Here, I thought a business plan, a good idea might be a laundry service that comes to your house and picks up your dirty laundry. Then they drop off your clean laundry the next day. It is folded and sorted by person, so each person gets their own bag of clothes. I thought it might be a good idea to market this to busy parents, have a discount for kids' clothes, maybe offer some stain removal. And again, these were just ideas that I came up with when I was brainstorming. I also put in there some possible issues such as, where would I get this all washed? Once you have brainstormed, you are ready for the next step, which is to read about your topic and gain some background knowledge. You cannot write about something that you don't understand. So if you have an assignment where you need to write about a topic that you aren't familiar with, you need to read for background knowledge. So I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you had an assignment to write about medical marijuana. So first, when I Google my topic and I just Google medical marijuana, I get many millions of results. And there's lots of different areas covered. There's the medical part of it, how medical marijuana works and what conditions it treats. There's places to buy medical marijuana. There is questions about, is it safe? And then there are, for each state, it typically has some information about state laws and state practices. This is too broad for me to really read all of this. So I'm going to try to narrow my topic down. So I'm in Delaware, so I'm going to look up medical marijuana in Delaware. Oops. Let's get that copied and pasted. Medical marijuana in Delaware. This narrows it down a little bit. Now I've got Delaware Health and Social Services website. I've got some places in Delaware to get medical marijuana. Then I can look at questions about how to get a medical card and how many dispensaries there are. This is a much more manageable amount of information. I can start to read about medical marijuana in Delaware and then come to an idea about what the current situation is and maybe what I would like to research. The important part of reading for background knowledge is to get a general idea of the topic and then think about how you might want to narrow it down. So here I still had a lot of results. So maybe I want to look at the law or who is eligible for medical marijuana or who is selling it or the tax benefits for my state. Reading for background knowledge will probably take you, depending on the length of your paper, anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours. So make sure that you budget that time in as you are working on your assignment. Next, we have to gather our resources. You want to have some sort of system for collecting your resources so they're all organized and you can access them whenever you need them. You may want to ask a librarian to help you find resources. As you're looking at resources, you want to consider whether they are reliable or not. One way to measure this is by using the CRAP test. I know that sounds like a funny name, but it is a legitimate way to measure the reliability of resources. CRAP is an acronym, and it stands for Currency, Relevance, Authority, Accuracy, and Purpose. First, currency, the timeliness of the information. I had a student come in the other day to work with me who was working on a paper on crime statistics, and the article he was using was from the year 2000. That was 21 years ago. So most likely the crime statistics in that article are no longer current today. You need to make sure that you're checking the date of your article and seeing if it is up to date with what is going on now. Any article that is looking at data, you want to have it be recent. That probably within the last 5 years. Relevance. Is this source discussing something that is on topic with what you are researching? If you're researching apples, you want something that's on apples, not oranges. Authority. Who is the author or the publisher or the source of this article? What are the author's credentials? For example, if someone is writing about a vaccine, are they a medical doctor or a scientist? Or are they someone who's just watched a lot of YouTube videos? You want to think about whether your source is credible, whether they should be believed. Do they have expertise in that area? Then accuracy, the reliability or truthfulness of the content. If an article presents information that seems too good to be true or seems to be at odds with other sources you have read, you want to really examine it to look at where does the information come from? Is it supported by evidence? Has this information been reviewed by an outside source? And then finally, the purpose. What is the reason that this information has been published? If, for example, an article says that people who wear glasses are seen as more attractive, is that article by LensCrafters or some other glasses company? Are they trying to sell you something? Are they trying to entertain you? Are they trying to make you laugh or persuade you? Thinking about the purpose of the information is important as you look at a resource. Next, you want to make an outline. This helps you organize your information. It really creates the foundation for your paper and makes writing your paper very easy. Oh. Let's look at, I don't know, I guess it just went right there. Here is an example that I helped my son do, which was an outline for an environmental action plan. Typically, outlines have an introduction, and then some major points, and then a conclusion. The purpose of the outline is not to get stuck on, Roman numerals or letters or, how the outline looks. It's really to organize your thoughts and ideas. You want to start with an introduction that kind of builds your background knowledge for your reader, discusses with your reader what you're talking about, and then you address your major points, and then you include a conclusion. Once you've done all that, really, you can write your paper right from your outline. As you are working on your outline, you might realize that you need to rework the information to get it to fit. That's okay. You may need to get more references. That's okay too. And then there's my example. Now you're ready to start writing your paper. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.